let's see the answer of Edexcel IGCSE Chemistry of May 2025, paper 1C. So let's start from the question 1. The diagram represents an atom of an element. So A, label the 3 subatomic particles on the diagram. So the outer one is the electron. And then we have 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 electrons, right? So the number of protons must be equal to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the black particle is proton. And another one will be neutron. Then question B. Use information from the diagram to complete the table for this element. Mass number. So we have proton equal to 5. Neutron equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Neutron equal to 6. And electron also equal to 5. So mass number is the number of proton plus number of neutrons. So it is equal to 11. Group number. So electron equal to 5. So the electronic configuration will be 2, 3. So the group number is 3. And then period. Since it has only 2 layers here, so it is in the period 2. Electronic configuration, as I said, 2, 3. Give the name of this element, so it will be boron. Question 2. A small piece of lithium is added to water. State 2 observations made when lithium reacts with water. First one is freezing. Second one is lithium disappear. Then question B. What are the products of the reaction? So we will get lithium hydroxide and hydrogen. Question C. After the reaction is complete, a few drops of universal indicator are added to the solution in the trough. So explain the color and pH of the solution. So since the solution is alkaline, so the pH will be greater than 7. pH will be greater than 7. And the color of universal indicator will be violet. Then next, give the formula of the ion responsible for this pH. So of course it will be hydroxide ion or OH negative. And question D. Lithium ions can be identified using a flame test. What flame color indicates the presence of lithium ions? So it will be red. Question 3. A student uses a paper chromatography to investigate the dyes in five different angles, the V, W, X, Y, and Z. The chromatogram shows the result of the investigation. So question A. Explain why the start line on the paper is drawn in pencil rather than in ink. Okay, the reason is ink can be reacted with the solvent but pencil won't be reacted with the solvent. Then question B. Explain which two inks contains the dye that is more soluble in the solvent. So if we move to the chromatogram, we will see these 2 points that coming the furthest. So therefore, dye X and dye C. Dye X and C. Because the spot move the furthest. Okay. Then question C. Explain how the chromatogram shows that W contains only one dye. So it has only one spot. Okay, so that means it has only one dye. Because W has only one spot. On the paper. And V may contain more than one dye. Since V does not move from the start line, so if the solvent has changed, dye V may be moved and it may be have more than one spot. Question 4. Calcium phosphate is an ionic compound with the formula Ca3PO4 2. What is the total number of atoms in the formula of calcium phosphate? So we have 3 calcium atoms plus 2 phosphorus atoms and plus 8 oxygen atoms. So the total number of atoms equal to 13. So the answer is option C. Question II. What are the correct charges on the ions of the calcium phosphate? So I will move these 2 back to the calcium and I will move these 3 back to the phosphate. So the charge will be calcium with 2 positive and phosphate with 3 negative. So the answer will be option B. Question BI. Calculate the relative formula mass or MR of calcium phosphate. So MR of calcium phosphate equal to 40 times 3, which is the MR of calcium, and then plus phosphorus. Let me go back to the periodic table. AR of phosphorus is 31. Okay, so we will have 31 plus 16 times 4, which is about the oxygen, and all of this we have to times 2, so we will have 120 plus 31 plus 64, which is 95, times 2, so we will have 120 plus 190, so it is equal to 310. And then calculate the percentage by mass of calcium in calcium phosphate. So percentage by mass of calcium is equal to 40 over, it should be 120 because we have 3 calcium, 120 over 310 times 100. So 12 times 100. So it is equal to around 38.7%. And question C. Calcium hydroxide can react with phosphoric acid to form calcium phosphate. Complete the equation for this reaction. Okay, so we have 3 calcium on the right hand side, so I'll put 3 here. And then we have 2 phosphate on the right hand side, so I'll put 2 here and 1 here. So let's count the number of hydrogen atoms. So we have hydrogen equal to 2 times 3, which is 6, and then 3 times 2, which is 6 again. So we have total 12 hydrogen atoms, but we have only 2 here, so I'll put 6 here. Question 5. Butane is an alkane. So A. Explain why butane is a saturated hydrocarbon. So it has only carbon and hydrogen. And it has only single bond. And the last one is there is no double bond. Question BI. When butane burns completely in oxygen, carbon dioxide and water are produced. So give a chemical equation for this combustion reaction. So we have C4H10 plus O2. Then we will have carbon dioxide plus water, but we have to balance the equation. So we have 4 carbon here, so I'll put 4 here, and then we have 10 hydrogen here, so I'll put 5 here. So total oxygen on the right hand side will be 4 times 2 8 plus 5 times 1 5, so it is equal to 13. So I'll put 13 over 2 here in order to make oxygen equal to 13. Then question II. Incomplete combustion can occur when the oxygen supply is limited. One product of the incomplete combustion of butane is carbon monoxide. Give the name of another product. So it will be water. Then question III. State why carbon monoxide is poisonous to humans. Because it reduces the ability of hemoglobin to carry oxygen. Next, C4H10 exists as 2 isomers. State what is meant by the term isomers. So same molecular formula, but different display formula. Okay, then draw the display formula of each isomer, right? Okay, so we have 4 carbon here as a straight line, straight bond, straight chain like this. So I'll put 10 hydrogen here. And I will draw 3 carbon here in the middle. Then another carbon, I'll put it here. And the remaining will be hydrogen. Okay. Then explain why hexane has a higher boiling point than butane. First one, it has more carbon atom. Second is it has more attraction force between carbon and hydrogen. So it requires more energy. That's it. Question 6. When iron rusts, iron 3 oxide forms. So state 2 conditions needed for iron to rust. So first one is the oxygen. And another one is water. Question B. What is the name of the process used to coat iron with zinc? So it is known as the galvanization process. Question C. What is the correct order of reactivity of these 4 metals? Check. Okay, option C. Okay. Then question D. Describe a test to show that a solution contains iron 3 positive ions. So we will test by add sodium hydroxide solution and the result will be a brown precipitate form. Okay. Then question E. A sample of iron oxide react with excess carbon monoxide. This is the equation for the reaction. Explain why this is a redox reaction. So the first one is iron oxide loses oxygen. So is reduced. Whereas carbon monoxide gains oxygen. So is oxidized. Okay. Question II. Calculate the minimum mass of iron oxide needed. to produce a theoretical yield of 28 grams. Okay, so we have to find the mass of iron oxide, right? Theoretical yield of 28 grams of iron. Okay, of iron. So if from the equation we have iron oxide compare with 2 iron. So we have 28 grams of iron. AR of iron is 56. So I will divide with 56 by multiplying with 2 from the equation, equal to the mass of iron oxide divided by MR of iron oxide, which is 160. So mass of iron oxide equal to 28 times 160 divided by 2 times 56. So 28 and 56 cancel, equal to 2. And then 160 divided by 4 is 40 grams. And question III. The actual yield of iron from this sample is 21 grams. Calculate the percentage yield. So the percentage yield equal to the actual yield, which is 21, divided by theoretical yield, which is 28 grams, times 100%. So the percentage yield equal to 75%. Question 7. A student does an experiment to determine the maximum temperature change when sulfuric acid reacts with sodium hydroxide. So complete the chemical equation for this neutralization reaction. Include the state symbols. So we have sodium hydroxide react with sulfuric acid. So we will get sodium sulfate, okay, which is an aqueous state, plus water in liquid state. Now we have to balance the equation since we have 2 sodium here. Okay, we have 2 sodium here as well. And we have 4 hydrogen on the left hand side, but we have only 2 hydrogen here. So we have to put 2 here. Then question B. This is the student method. So step 1, add 50 cubic centimeters of sodium hydroxide solution to a glass beaker. Then step 2, record the initial temperature of the sodium hydroxide solution. Step 3, add 5 cubic centimeters of dilute sulfuric acid to the beaker. And step 4, stir the mixture and record the highest temperature reached. The student repeats step 3 and 4 until a total of 40 cubic centimeters of acid has been added. So explain one way the student could improve the accuracy. Okay, so the student should use a polystyrene cup instead of a beaker, because heat loss will be less. Okay, then question C, the table shows the student's result. So plot the result on the grid. Okay, so we have 21 at 0, 21, 22, okay, 21 here, and then 22.3 at 5, 22.3, 21, 20.2, 22.3 somewhere here, and then 23.8 at 10, so 23.8 here, and then 24.4 at 15, 24.4 at 15, and then 26.5 at 20, 26.5, and then 28 at 25, and then 28.2 at 35, sorry, 28.5 at 30, right? 28.5, so it should be here, and then 28.2, and the last one is 27.9, somewhere here. Okay, and then draw a circle around the anomalous result. Okay, so the anomalous result will be at 15. This one is the anomalous result. Then draw a straight line of best fit through the first 6 points, ignoring the anomalous result. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A straight line. Okay, and then draw another straight line of best fit to the last 3 points. Okay, so we will have this one. Okay, yep, we have. Okay, then make sure that the 2 line crosses. Okay, okay, then the point where the lines cross shows the volume of acid needed to exactly neutralize the alkaline and the maximum temperature reached. Use your graph to determine these values, right? So it will be at 27, around 27.5, and maximum temperature is about 28.6. Okay, then explain what might have caused the anomalous result. Okay, first one, the temperature took too early, so highest temperature was not reached. Question 8. Diamond and graphite are 2 naturally occurring forms of carbon. They both have giant covalent structure. So question A. Explain with reference to its bonding why diamond has a high melting point. So the first one is covalent bonds are strong. Second is many covalent bonds need to be broken And the last point is it requires a large amount of energy to break the bonds. Question B. Explain why graphite is soft and is a conductor of electricity. Refer to structure and bonding in your answer. So the first point is carbon atoms are joined together by covalent bonds. Second is the structure is in layer. The third point is the layer can slide over each other. Fourth point is because there are weak forces between layers. The fifth point is there are delocalized electrons which are free to move between the layers. Question 9. This question is about organic compounds. Chloroethene is a covalent molecule that is used to make polychloroethene. This is the display formula of chloroethene. So draw a dot and cross diagram of chloroethene. Show only the outer shell electron. Okay, so we have carbon here with 4 outer shell electron. 2, 3, 4, and we have hydrogen here having 1 electron. We have another carbon here we have 1 chlorine with 7 outer shell electron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we have another hydrogen here with 1 outer shell. Then question II. Describe in terms of electrostatic attractions what is meant by a covalent bond. So it is an electrostatic attraction force between positive nuclei and a shared pair of electrons. Okay. Then question III. Chloroethene is a monomer. Draw the display formula of the repeat unit. Okay, so we have 2 hydrogen, 1 chlorine and 1 hydrogen here. Yep. Then polychloroethene is non-biodegradable. There are 2 main methods used to dispose polychloroethene. So describe one problem caused by each method. First one, use landfill method. But it requires a lot of space. Another one is burning method. But it produces a greenhouse gas. Okay. Then question B. An organic compound contain this percentage composition by mass: carbon 22%, hydrogen 4.6%, and bromine 73.4%. So we have to calculate the empirical formula of this compound. So we have carbon 22%, hydrogen 4.6%, and bromine 73.4%. So I will divide with the atomic weight of each element. So divided by 12, by 1, and by 80. So this one is 1.83, this one 4.6, and the last one is 0.92. So in this case, 0.92 is the least number. So I will divide with 0.92 to all the terms. So the last term will be 1. 4.6 divided by 0.92 is 5. And 3 divided by 0.92, which is 2. So the empirical formula will be C2H5Br. Question C. Ethane and ethene undergo a different type of reaction with bromine. Describe the differences between these two reactions. Okay. Ethane is an alkane, okay, which having only single bond. So it requires UV light to make this reaction, and it is a substitution reaction. ethene is an alkene which having a double bond. So it does not require UV light and it is an addition reaction. Question 10. A student uses this apparatus to investigate the energy content of different fuels. This is the student's method. Pour some water into the copper can, then record the mass of the spirit burner and fill. Measure the initial temperature of the water. Place the spirit burner under the copper can and light the burner. Stop heating the water when the temperature reaches 30 degrees Celsius. Then record the new mass of the spirit burner and fill. So the student repeat the experiment with different fields. Explain two variables the student should control to make this a valid test. Okay, first one, the student should control the volume of the water, same volume of water. Okay, and another one, so the same amount of heat is required. And another variable that the student should control is the spirit burner. Is the same distance to the copper can. So for doing this, the same amount of heat loss occur. The same amount of heat loss occurs. Okay. Then question B. In one of the experiments, the student uses ethanol as the fuel. These are the students' results for ethanol. So the initial mass is 38.52. The final mass is 38.29. Volume of water is 100 ml. Initial temperature is 18 and the final temperature is 30. So calculate the value of the heat energy Q in joules. So we have Q equal to mass times C times delta T. So mass will be 100 times C, which is 4.2, and the temperature change will be 30 minus 18. So it is equal to 5040 joules. Then question II. Calculate the enthalpy change of delta H in kilojoule per mole. Include a sign in your answer. So first of all, we have to find the number of mole. In this case, the mass of ethanol equal to 38.29 minus 38.52. I'm sorry. should be reversed. 38.52 minus 38.29. This is the mass, and then divided by the MR of the ethanol, which is equal to 46. So it will be equal to 0.23 over 46. So it is equal to 0.005 mole. Then enthalpy change equal to the heat energy divided by the number of mole. So we have 5040 joules, right? So it is equal to 5040 divided by 1000 in order to convert into kilojoules, and then divided by 0.005. So the enthalpy change will be equal to 1008 kilojoule per mole. And since this reaction is an exothermic reaction, so we have to put a negative sign here.